Leafs talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee. That was outrageous.
Oh my God.
That was stupid. Exciting. I got to tell you, I'm still like, you know me. I've said I'm the sports perv where it's like, I need something kinky to get going some night.
Same.
Yeah. And I'm fully sports aroused after that one. Like I got the tingles all the way through after the Leafs pull off the comeback against the New Jersey Devils and win in overtime.
That is about as unique a hockey match as you're ever going to watch. Like,
well, is it?
Well, I mean, I just retweeted a certain tweet from yours that you can't do better than that. So we'll let the people react to that one. But I have seen that. Maybe it was, you're right. It wasn't unique. I've just been on the other side. I've just been on the other side of it.
Yeah.
At least 15 times in my life. So
Dude.
I've watched that game and I'm rarely at a loss for words to open up here, but that was unbelievable that the Leafs got the win in that hockey game.
Let me just put it this way. So if you didn't see my tweet, essentially the gist of it is that was the quintessential perfect Sheldon Keefe game.
Yep.
You outplay the other team. You win the deserve to win meter. You get goalied. One bad bounce goes against you. Your team doesn't respond physically, and you end up leaving a hockey game where you go, wait, how did that happen? And this is the kind of loss that used to tear Leaf fans apart. That's the joy I have tonight watching this game is that everybody in the chat right now is fired up instead of just, well, what are they supposed to do? Got goalie, debate, you know? Oh, wow, they're supposed to punch somebody in the head and negate the power play? Debate.
Oh, God, I used to say that stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Like, instead, we get to be the ones tonight who are just like, hey, pretty sweet when that goes your way.
So, yeah, you can ride out of there now where you're like the whatever team that used to come into Scotiabank Arena and pull that.
Yeah.
The Leafs are the Anaheim Ducks tonight, riding out of there with a 2-1 win with Dostal.
Canadians.
Or Dostal making 80 saves against the Leafs with all their outside chances with Sheldon Keefe behind the bench.
Yes.
Like, I don't know where to start other than the fact that that's the best goaltending Leafs performance I've seen, I think, since Cujo or since Belfour. I don't know even what to compare it to because they've had great ones over the past few years. And I remember there was a game that like they're talking about game scores and he was like a Matt Murray one in there. And there's all these ones that they've had over the years, but this one is in a line of unbelievable performances by Anthony Stolarz. This is his masterpiece. He was unbelievable. And like Leafs found their game a little bit. He still had to make some great saves in the second half of this game, but that first period was just an absurd display of goaltending. As good as it gets at the National Hockey League level, elite stuff. I was blown away by the fact that they went in that intermission 0-0. Ridiculous. Truly ridiculous.
It was both infuriating because this was building towards a pretty difficult narrative. And I do think that there is one because the Leafs have now played 5 games in a row where I don't think that it's been really good hockey. Right?
For sure.
Like
basically since Matthews came back, they haven't looked good.
Yeah. Like the Chicago win and the Nashville win, those are 2 bottom, like cellar dweller teams that you squeaked by and whatever, you got the win. Same with tonight, but that's 3-2. Like that's 3-2. And you could make the case that the Leafs were the worst team or at best equal to some of the worst teams in the league. And Stolarz just stepped up for them like in a monumental way. We've got a save pack of him tonight where I think Show said it's going to be about 3 minutes long. Like it's like a 3-minute long, just condensed the best of saves. The Leafs were outshot 14-1 in the first period. And how many of those
15,
were
I
awesome?
think.
15-1?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Outshot by 14 then. 15-1 in the first period. Absolutely no life. And that's what an elite goaltender does for you, right? You don't have it. You're not playing well. He can shut the door and inspire confidence in the team. I think that the Leafs started to turn around a little too late. There was a moment during the second period where like after the Morgan Riley turnover and the puck goes in the back of the net, I'm like, is it possible for a teammate to sue his teammates?
Yeah.
Can you take legal action against your partners here?
Oh, against John Tavares for a blind backhand weak thing right up into the middle to the fastest team in the league that just immediately turned and puts it in the back of your net. I was so mad about that. But anyways, you're right. like continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, all I was going to kind of wrap this up with is like the size and the athleticism of this player were on full display tonight. And the other thing that makes him so special that really, I think, stands him apart from I hate doing like the Wool comparisons every night because both guys are awesome. Like, I don't really want to like have it be a pit against each other. But the thing that to me is the part of his game where I just feel like, holy crap, this guy's so special is when the play is frantic in front of the net, when it's in tight, you just don't get easy goals on this guy. There's no like shoving pucks underneath the pad. You know, he just battles in traffic. He battles in tight. He makes himself big. He seals the bottom of the net with his pads, and he just doesn't give you an inch. And I'd like to see what the actual Clearview analytics are on him in terms of in tight. I cannot believe, and I would be willing to just basically stake my reputation that based on starts, he's the best in the NHL at it this season.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone would. I can text my boy Valley, see what he has on that, but it feels like that's got to be right. There's just no way that. I mean, he's one of the best goalies in the league, period. So, and one of his huge strength is finding pucks in tight, like you said. And when there's like, and it's just, I've said it a million times. We've been on the Stolarz island since the first minute of the first preseason game, you and I. But he just fights, man. He cares. He battles, and he's so fired up. You see, after they score that shorty, they go down to him and he does that huge fist pump. He's clearly fired up. Yeah. And it's a homecoming, right? Like, he's probably played in Jersey before with Florida. He's been in the league for a long time, but he's coming home as like a legitimate NHL star right now. It's his first time there. He's probably got a ton of friends and family in there, and he just goes out there and he puts, you know what, on the table. He steals a win for his team. He's going to get the belt. They're going to be fired up. He gets to go out for dinner with all his family and his friends, and they get that win for him. Like, I'm so happy that they got that for Stolarz. Like, truly, he just deserved it so much.
Every Leafs group chat on the planet right now, or during that overtime, was get this for Stolarz.
Yes.
If you didn't have that in your group chat, you don't have
across the world. If you did like a search,
yeah,
all Leaf fan group chat, that's it.
Get it for Stol. Whatever your nickname is for Stolarz tonight in our group chat, it was Big Tone.
Tone, I like Tone. Yeah.
So. It's whatever version of your nickname for him. It was get the win for him. I love what you said there though about like there's an attitude to him, man.
Yeah.
Like it again, this is not a negative comparison. This is not. I actually just like it. It's very fire and ice with him and Joe Wool, where it's
for sure.
Wool is so cool, calm, collected, plays the piano, that's the guy he is. And then you got the firecracker who's back there, who's just the big man, got the big man energy, the big man confidence, the fist pumps to his game. There's a toughness and there's an attitude to Stolarz's game. And I think that's why he's like a big part of why he's becoming beloved. It's not just the saves. It's not just the elite play. It's also just the way that he exudes personality, despite being a player who wears a full face mask.
Yeah. I have to say, not to quote Paul Pierce here, but he's got the it factor.
Oh, he's got it factor.
He's got it
oozing out of the pores.
He's got it. Like, he's flying around there. Great setup. That bucket we've talked about a million times. He just looks great, making amazing stops, keeping his team in games. And like, they're so fired up for him right now. Like,
yes.
That room is just buzzing about how good he was. Wherever they're going tonight, probably back home, the plane, next meetup with all the guys, just be talking about it. And there's nothing better than having a goalie that's good. Like, you just feel so good about your game. And he has been one of the league's best. Like, I got to tell you, Chamber of 32 Doors saying he's a Vezina goalie. Like, I got to tell you, he's in the conversation. If they're doing a finalist right now, he'd be in the conversation. He's been that good. It's been crazy.
100%.
What a signing by Tree so far. Been ridiculously good.
It's the best signing of the offseason so far, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, there's nothing that's nearly as impactful for $2.5 million. Like, no, he's already earned the contract. Like, he could never play another game. And it's like, hey, all these wins and this play is worth $2.5 million on the season.
Yeah,
like, he's already wins above replacement on the contract that he signed with the Leafs. But yeah, man, he's just cool.
He is. We just love him.
We are just in full gush mode right now.
I don't know what else to say.
You know what I'm interested in though is, like, I mentioned those bad 5 games that they've played, but a performance like that, I really am curious what they look like next game coming out of the chute. Like,
wow, they're playing against the crappy Ducks, who got a hard-fought shootout loss against the Montreal Canadiens on Monday night.
You got to cave them in
for sure, and I think they will. That's like the classic game where they do. Like there's certain games where they play against bad teams, but like the Ducks feel like a different animal to me. But anyway, so not the prediction business here.
I was ready for crushing them tonight.
Oh yeah.
I was ready. I was going to do this whole spiel about how you and I have been pretty forgiving on the season and talked about all the missing bodies and, they've been winning these games and there's been some underlying stuff that hasn't been great. We touched on the 5-on-5 stuff last game, but to put up that 5-game sample, I was like, okay, this is 5 games in a row now. They deserve the PP whack and the absolute crush job, especially after, the power plays tonight. Those made me sick to my stomach.
I don't know what that's one of the things I was going to bring up to you here. I don't know, like they had that. It'd be hard to quantify and bring it into different portions of the season, but they had that red hot stretch when Matthews went out, right? Where they were scoring every power play where they could only score power play goals for a little while when Matthews was gone. It's gone right back to putrid.
100%.
I don't know what it's like the percentage would be since that stretch. Like, like the sort of the goalposts I'm talking about here. But like, I guess kind of since Matthews came back or a little before, I don't feel like it's been very good at all. Like they've gotten a few goals here. It hasn't been like the start of the year where it's snake bit. And at the start of the year when when it's like from the start, it always feels different. But I don't know, man. I just, it's still not good enough. It's just still not good enough.
Tonight, they gave up 2 shots on the first power play.
Yep.
The second power play, they gave up a breakaway chance.
Yep.
And then the third one, they registered, I think it was 1 shot, but it was the second unit that came over the boards. By the way, they should have started the second unit because, like, again, like Mike Johnson's noting it, and it was so true and obvious to everyone that, like, their entire power play unit was gassed. They had absolutely no legs. They couldn't fight through anything and just, like, couldn't even gain the zone for a second there. Like, that, we were just running the highlights of it. It was pathetic. That was an ugly one tonight. Again, 3 opportunities. I'll kind of give it 2.5, seeing as the players were gassed and it was a mishandling, I think, by the coaching staff there to throw those guys out there. But yeah, that was not an inspiring performance from the power play.
It's so funny though. Like you watch them give up all those chances with the 5 forwards, and then the last one, Riley's back out there. And it's like, coach is like this old school coach is like, wow, we got to have the defenseman out there. We can't do this anymore. It's like they're giving up those chances and you just saw it happen in real time. And I can almost guarantee you that on Thursday night against the Ducks, 44 will be at the top of that power play unit. Like I'd be willing to bet a lot of money on that because it's just old school grunt coach that goes against the grain with something that's like not a traditional move and it gives up chances. Immediate switch. And I guarantee him and Savvy are having a conversation right now. Savvy, we're going back to the Mo at the top. Savvy's like, I like the 5 forwards. They're having a conversation about it right now. Guaranteed.
I got to tell you, though, too, like, figure something out.
Figure it out.
Stick with it.
No question.
Yeah. It's like this is a little bit too much blender of changing up the power play for me over the course of the season. And part of this has been Matthews out, but like, you guys got to get this together where you feel confident that one of these units, like one of these set of 5 players, is the one that you can roll with for a while before breaking it up. Like you and I were calling for them to break it up earlier in the year, but that's because they had gone over for like what was it, like 10 games, 11 games where they just like were not producing. So at that point you go, but this whole thing of like, a game or 2 and it's switching up and you never have any predictability of like who's going to be out there. I don't love it.
I'm just looking at the power play stats for the season. They're 18th in the league.
Yeah.
Just not good enough.
Yeah.
Just not good enough. You have way too much
that was after
talent.
A month where they were first too. And one where they were last.
Yeah. There's just far too much talent and far too much money invested in being like, if they're going to be playing the way they're playing with the clear commitment to the defensive side of the puck, and like not opening it up and not giving up odd man rushes and doing all this stuff that you're trying to do, you can't have your power play be 19th in the league. It's just 100%. It's just not something that's possible. So they got to figure that out. You're right. So, Pacioretty?
Oh, well, no, I got to start with Matthews, then Patches.
Okay.
Right? Like
sure.
Matthews had what, 4 open cages tonight?
He scored on his 4th breakaway of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4. I actually think that him scoring in overtime is also super important for just his psyche and where he's at with his game right now, trying to find it after missing multiple opportunities in this one.
Yep.
And yeah, there's going to be talk around town. And I don't think Matthews is too affected by this stuff of like, the power play not looking as good since he's been back, and people still grumbling about the idea that he's going to play with Marner, even though they had that one good game or basically one good period together.
Yeah.
People grumbling about the team's play since he returned, again, the sample of it where Matthews is not been his normal self and the Leafs have looked off kilter and have not been as dominant as you would hope they would be. And for him to finish here in just a massive spot in overtime, where again, you stole 1 point, nonetheless steal 2. Yeah. I just think that hopefully is big and kind of can help him find his level a little bit here, because this was an awesome one.
I mean, to get the puck elevated into the top half of the net with the puck in your feet and get it right up there with a guy on your back, it's elite. And that's what you come to expect from Austin Matthews. And he hasn't been quote unquote bad since he's come back. I guess he's producing, but when you're Austin Matthews, there's a certain standard that people expect and you need for this team if you're going to be making $13 million, right? Like they need, everybody's harping on the 5-on-5 goal scoring. It's like, well, yeah, one of the best 5-on-5 goal scorers missed 8 weeks and has come back and not look like himself. And you need that from him. That's what this team's built around.
100%. And do you see his teammates there though, after he scores the goal?
They're fired up.
Dude, everybody is stoked for him. And you can see like a sense of relief on his face. A couple of the guys he's passed, he's like, this one was on me tonight with having all those opportunities and not finishing. It's like, cool, man, you got those chances, but you're Austin Matthews. You're the guy who buries those chances. And the reaction after he scores the goal was telling too, because this is no secret. I've mentioned this a million times. Exactly. A million times on a million shows. Austin Matthews is at his best when he's feeling himself and he's got that confidence and swagger where he celebrates goals like that.
Yep, absolutely. And like, I don't know, there's moments tonight where I thought he was at his best that I've seen him since he came back. He's still not all the way back, but the physicality was there for me. I think I got showed. I don't know who he hammered in the corner. Was it Siegenthaler that he got in the corner?
Play. Man, Siegenthaler was.
But like, I'd like him to be frustrated like all the time, even when he is scoring. Could you act a little frustrated? Like, because even Mike Johnson was like, oh, he's not, he's not scoring, so he's frustrated. Well, it's like, well, can he just hit guys regardless if he's frustrated or not? Because he's 6'3", like 200 and however many pounds. He's a big man. And like, I know he's not Eric Lindros, but you can do this once a game. No problem. You're way bigger and way stronger than a ton of guys in the league, and you're going to keep people honest. So he had a ton of chances tonight. You don't usually think that like hitting the net is an issue for him. So maybe this is the first step, like you said, getting the confidence back. And, they have a cookie night on Thursday night going up against the Ducks. That's the type of night where he gets a hat trick and maybe he's all the way back. So good night for Matthews to finish off. Still some moments I didn't love it, but I think his best game since he's come back. Most noticeable, most dominant, most of his shifts, I thought.
Definitely. And speaking of hits, Max Pacioretty tonight, and then nice.
Okay. I love Max Pacioretty, bud. Yeah. I feel very, very confident and happy about my preseason takes of not being like, oh, Nick Robertson, they're gonna give up Nick Robertson's spot for Max Pacioretty.
Listen, some of us were wrong and have already admitted that they were wrong many times. All right.
But like, this is as big a hit as I can remember a Leaf since like a Phaneuf hit. Like McCabe's had a few. McCabe's had a few, but this is like Mike Pekka in 02 kind of hit. Like this doesn't happen anymore. Like head up, and like I can't believe for the life of me the response to this. Like, we joked about it off the top about how it's like the response here, but this is Jack Hughes. This is your best player by far. 4 Nations face off, stud, number 1 guy on your team, superstar in the league, and he gets obliterated. And that's Dylan. That's the guy that fought Gadjevich. That couple, like, he's a tough guy, and he doesn't like no one. Look at that. How did the flippers not immediately come off and jump him? Like, that's an insanely bad response from a team where you want to be like, it's just a coincidence. They're the same type of team, but how is it a coincidence? Marcus, or it's not, what's his name? Dylan. I forget his first name. There's a guy on my hockey team, Marcus Dillon. Shout out Marcus if you're but anyways, Brendan Dillon. Thank you. How do you not draw a parallel between Keefe and that? It's impossible to. It's impossible not to. Sorry.
Yeah, listen, I said today on my show that I don't really feel the juice going into a game against Keefe because I feel like the divorce was amicable. Like I was like, oh, it's just when he did the video, I'm just like, I'm just a good old Ontario boy who got a chance to coach. I got a good chance. I said that both sides it's working out for, right? Like they're the divorced family, the Leafs and Keefe, where they still do Christmases together. They do vacations, and like kids from bad divorces are like, wait, what? Like you do Christmas all
Gerard
together?
Gallant, like in a cab, like what?
Yeah, it's like your wife's parents, where it's like they're best friends still.
Yeah, Ali and her parents love each other.
Like they're still tight. They still hang and talk on the phone every day because there's really no animosity. But yeah, I will say that watching that stuff versus what the expectation is now with Berube, and even just watching the way the Leafs comport themselves in front of their own net, stick up for one another. And yeah, there was a learning curve there, and the Leafs had embarrassing moments like against Boston where they didn't stick up for one another and they got blasted for it. But I think that is now just known with the culture of this Leafs team. What?
That was with, you mean the one like it with Liljegren last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with Keefe though.
Yeah,
right?
that's,
and then they
no. That's what I'm saying. Is
the
like
embarrassing thing. Remember after that, they're like, we're gonna have a team meeting about sticking up for each other and stuff. It was like
that's my point. Is like it was year over year where that was a problem. And then it culminated finally at the very end of it, where it was like, hey, we got to do something, we got to respond. And then all of a sudden, guys were flying around trying to overcompensate. And you and I mentioned
cross-checked a guy in the mouth and got suspended for 5 games.
You and I talked about how it was like, now it feels like they're the fake tough guy, where they're running around being like, hey, we're tough. It's like, well, if you have to tell everyone you're tough, you're probably not that tough.
Yep.
And that was the Leafs. And now it just feels like very different. And to see that, I don't think it's a hard line to draw. But for Pacioretty's sake, listen, I need him to score some goals. There's just no doubt about it. He's a 6-time 30 goal scorer. But I do think it's pretty cool that he is reinventing himself on the fly as a big physical guy, and not just resting on his laurels of like, I've scored a ton of goals in this league. I don't need to engage in this stuff.
Oh my God. That's such a great hit.
Oh, dude, I'll watch that till the day I die. Like I have, if you want to show me that clip, you walk up to me in the streets, you're like, yo, here's the Pacioretty. I'll be like, cool, let's stop and watch this.
He's got a gritty face too now. Like he's getting older. He's got the gritty old guy face. He just like he's hammering guys. And like, I give him credit because we used to say, like, I was worried when he got hurt that he's going to be out a lot longer, first of all. And second of all, that he was going to come back and be a little tentative and he wasn't going to be as willing to do this. And through 2 games, he's been more aggressive than he was before. And I guess he wants to show the coach that he's willing to do that. But that's highlight reel hit. Like I said, that's Grapes, Mike Pekka, Mike Richards. That's as good as it gets. I love that still exists in the league.
I love it too. And I don't understand this, especially since the guy's name is Mood McVibes in the chat. Like, how can your name be Mood McVibes when you say that was too greasy for me?
What do you mean? He had the puck in his stick and he hammered him in the chest. It's hockey.
Yeah, Mood McVibes.
This is a point though that
Mood McVibes. I got a message for you. You got to grow up. you got to grow up, buddy. That's bad. That's a really bad take. And then this guy points out JS. Pacioretty might have to fight if he keeps playing this way.
Kipper said that on the show today, which is really good timing. Where he's just like, if he keeps hammering guys, like eventually somebody's going to get the flippers off with him. And I think his last fight was against Tage Thompson last year. So I don't know. We'll see. Fought Wayne Simmons one time in his career. 2009, he fought Simmons.
So it's probably not going to be afraid of whatever Keith guy gets thrown at him. Okay, so the Nyes hit.
Yeah,
I actually did Mood McVibes. I'll tell you this now. That was a greasy hit. I thought that it could have been more.
I was stunned it wasn't 5. Like I thought for sure they were going to do
Devils.
Nothing.
Oh, grab them.
A little grab. That's it. Like, and I mean, there's nothing there. There's no. But I thought. I mean, I put out a tweet saying that I thought this easily could have been a 5-minute major. And everyone's like, oh, he let up. It could have been worse. He let up. I'm like, I don't think he let up. He saw his numbers and hammered him into the dasher. Yeah. That's his, like, I'm surprised they didn't give him the 5-minute major and then go to the review there. Like they've been doing a few times this year. I easily thought that could have been 5 and it doesn't end up being 5, which is, they go on the penalty kill and that's where they end up scoring the goal.
Yeah.
I got to say, can we talk about that Holmberg goal?
Yeah. That's where I was going next after. I was because it's like that the irony of it is that it's the ugliest play of the game, but it sets up the game winner.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, if I'm a Devils fan, I'm ready to drive Markstrom to the airport. This is unacceptable. You're watching the other team, your team pour it on, like absolutely pour it on. And you can't get one. And it comes down to your end. And, Connor Dewar makes a great play on this, by the way.
Really nice play.
Awesome pursuit on the, who is that who's defending there? Guy falls. And Pontus Holmberg, who has no off, he doesn't shoot hard. He doesn't pass. He doesn't do anything offensively well. And he lets a little muffin go from the top of the circle. And that gets through you when the other guy at the other end is having the night he is. That's embarrassing. If I'm Keefe, I'm burying him to the three people that are there for the media. Well, I guess there's a lot more because the Leafs are in town tonight. But we need a save there. You just need a save. It's your team's playing as good as they possibly can. Just watch this. This is as bad. If shout out Chris Bernacki, my beer league goalie. If he let that in, I'd be grumbling on the bench. That's as bad as it gets. And we had Ken Danico today on Real Kipper and Born, and we asked him about Markstrom, and he was like, yeah, he'll make a spectacular save, and he's made some big ones in big games. And he's like, but there's a few goals here and there you want back. And I'm like, there it is. There's the Dano scouting report. It just was not pretty. Bad.
So two things. One is, said this many times, and I'll say it again. To me, one of the hardest things for a goaltender is to not feel the puck for essentially an entire game and to have the mounting pressure of the moment. These guys are NHLers, right? They're not feeling this the same way as a kid would. But the mounting pressure of the other guy on the other side of the ice is dominating, and you're down there doing the Mighty Ducks Goldberg, skating around your net and singing songs to yourself.
Ken Dryden with two hands on top of the stick.
You aren't feeling it, and you are just sitting in there, and every puck that comes by you in a tight game like this, you're just like, oh, I can't blow it. I can't blow it. So this is Markstrom's worst nightmare. He won't sleep tonight.
No,
there is just absolutely
rightfully so. So it was an embarrassing goal.
He's not getting a wink, a batted eye of sleep.
But
and number two,
in the parallel world, just quickly before we get to number two, in our parallel world, that's just the goal Jack Campbell lets in. Or that's just the goal that Samsonov lets in. Or that's the goal that Peter Mrazek lets in. That's just the parallel world. That really is. Yeah. And so number two.
Lets in. Go on down the line. They all let him in. Number two is, do you remember when the conversation about Justin Bieber being able to score on Jordan Binnington? The argument.
This is such a great point. That's how he gets him?
Yeah, that's how he gets him, is that his shot is so not NHL caliber that it throws Binnington off and he lets in a softie. That was the first thought I had watching that puck go, and then I was like, that was Biebs versus Binnington.
That's a great,
same caliber of shot as what Bieber would put on Jordan with his 10 opportunities. Tell me that wouldn't look exactly the same from the Biebs.
And it's so funny. It's a great point. And also, thank God that didn't happen, so that Binnington starts a game for Team Canada. And we're Bieber scored on our starting goalie for Team Canada. We couldn't have that.
Have it. No, it would have been a national crisis.
So next thing for me is Domi.
Yep. Good point. I was going to that too.
I thought Domi actually was good tonight.
Same.
I thought he made a concerted effort to shoot the puck. And listen, he missed a few times, and Mike Johnson pointed out that he was missing the net, but I don't care really that he missed the net a bunch. I like the process, and he's an NHLer. He's a good shooter. He's shown that he can go bar down in situations like him on a breakaway, him and from certain spots in the ice. He can shoot it and he can score. So I like the process, and he's clearly listening to the coaching. And I thought he was good in the offensive zone. I thought he was dangerous. He's clearly not great in the defensive zone. He's never going to be great in the defensive zone. But I actually thought
asking him to do.
I thought it was a pretty good return from him tonight. I was impressed by some of the shifts from him.
Yeah, I honestly have very little to add there. I want him to hunt the shot.
Yeah.
Some people say hey, don't change your game, stick with it. Just, trust the process. I'm okay with him changing his game a little bit and shooting the puck a touch more. If this has to be the thing that kicks him in the ass to be a little bit more aggressive with the shot, to me, I welcome it. So shoot the puck more. I thought that, he had some bite to his game tonight and he was noticeable. And so, good for him. Good step forward for Max Domi.
Luke, this is from Luke Fox on Twitter. Sheldon Keefe, best goaltending in the league on the other side of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
You're damn right, Sheldon.
Yep.
You nailed it, pal.
Tip the cap Get on the bus, buddy.
Like, he probably is so. Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
look at that. That's a bad one. Holy, that's as good as it gets. Thank you for that show. That is, or Luke, whoever put that up. That's really, really good. You know, there is probably a part of Sheldon that is so mad about that.
100%.
He's like, I was running out Samsonov, and I had 890 goaltending for like the first 3 months of the season last year, and I leave, and you bring in the best goalie in the league. He's like,
and
thanks,
your coach is going to win the Jack Adams.
Yeah, because of him. He's probably so pissed about that. Oh my God. There's just, he is so mad. So anyways, yeah, I'm sure he mentioned that for a reason, right?
Completely agree. Oh, that to me is only, they won because they got the best goaltending in the league. Well,
it's true. They did.
Sure.
Yeah, he's
Who
right.
would refute it?
No, not one person.
Who would refute it? But yeah, he's not going quietly into the night. He's letting it be known that he's aware of what happened there. Anyways,
Lofi Kendu says the doer haters are awfully quiet tonight. As two members of the dudes of the Paw Patrol, we are doer guys through and through. Yeah. And I love the play he made. I think Doer's been pretty good. Good penalty killer, aggressive, got a little bit of bite to his game. Like I've been impressed with him. I wish he was 6 inches taller desperately, but he can play, and I've been impressed with him. He made a great play on the game tying goal. So good for him.
With you. Anything else?
Yeah. Last thing. This is I got to see the Frank the Tank video after this game. I got to see the Frank the Tank video. Like that's, I don't know when it's coming out or if he was at the game. I mean, he's pretty horned up about the Mets getting Juan Soto. So maybe he's a little softer tonight, but that doesn't seem like Frank the Tank's MO. I need to see the game tonight because he's going to be so mad.
He was biting his glasses watching that goal go in the net. One of his poor interns was just getting destroyed by him.
We should have got him on this post-game show. That would have got the numbers up.
That really would have done well for the post-game show. All right. Please subscribe to this podcast. Leave 5 stars if you do on iTunes or on Spotify. If you watch it on YouTube, it also still helps us if you could subscribe to the podcast as well. Catch every episode, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, leave a review, do all those different things. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sammy McKee. And we will see you Thursday against the Ducks, expecting a dominant performance against some of the best sweaters in the league.
Quack. Oh, you loser.